Let's go ahead.
Hello, my name is Michael Aidoon. I'm from Garland High School. I'm a senior, and my question is this. Sorry, nervous, but okay. So how much do you think that, to what extent do you think censoring history has an impact in its value for us and future generations?
Well, you know, it's funny. History does its own kind of censoring. I mean, for most of the life of this republic, we've told a top-down history of a political military one. And a lot of people, including people of your color, and women, and labor, and others, didn't matter. It didn't fit into that history. That was necessarily censorship, right? It just didn't say, it said that a huge portion of our daily life was actually not worth viewing. And what's good news is that we've changed, and we have a much more inclusive history and a much more complicated one as a result of it. If you think that we're beginning to understand, most recently, or popularly, we're beginning to understand the extent of Woodrow Wilson, once a liberal beacon, racism. You know, there had been, since the Civil War, an increasing integration of the civil service in the United States. And with his administration, he was an avowed racist. He rolled that back, and African Americans just departed en masse from the federal government, and it took decades to recover from that. We're now beginning to debate whether the very influential Woodrow Wilson Center at Princeton University, of which he was the president before he became the governor of New Jersey, before he became president of the United States, should be changed because of these views. So the pendulum has swung back to now other people who used to write the history, or at least had their history told, and only their history told, are saying, wait a second, what are we going to do? What's next? What are we going to take down? We're having the debate, obviously, after Charleston, about the Confederate flag and its hurtful symbolism. All of that is part of what we do. But for most of our life, the people who are in control and in power have written the history. And that's certainly true in other nations that don't enjoy the kind of freedom that we have, or just the extraordinary broad range of academic excellence that we have in this country. I mean, we have, you know, when you think of what the greatest educational institution is in France, you think of one place, the Sorbonne. If you think of England, you might think of Oxford or Cambridge. Well, we've got 250 Oxfords and Cambridges and Sorbonnes in the United States, which allows a huge amount of thinking and rethinking and changing and arguments and disagreements of the kind we're having over that history. I haven't really answered it because we haven't lived in a society where censorship itself, like a Soviet system, you know, where you just say somebody didn't exist anymore. You edit them out of the picture. And nobody hears about a person central to the country that you're living in. We haven't had that extent. What we've learned is that for way too long in our history, we haven't told a complete story. And we're learning to do that, and there are lots of growing pains.